the open source and CNCF incubating project Backstage has become the central piece of many organizations' platform engineering strategy. And for good reason. It's offering already a lot of plugins, and you can easily bring and build your own. In this video, I will show you how to integrate Stratos into Backstage. So Stratos is an open source Cloud Foundry project. It's a multi-cloud UI that's compatible with Cloud Foundry, is compatible with Kubernetes, EKS, AKS, JKE, and more, like Prometheus, all sorts of great tools that you can visualize in one interface. It's been around for more than 7 years, but recently saw a huge surge of interest because of the platform engineering trend. So in this video, I will show you how to integrate the two. Let's get started. All right, now we are going to create our Backstage plugin. So for that, we are going to type yarn, it's new, -- select, and we want a plugin. Now it should ask us for the plugin name. I'm going to call it Stratos for YouTube. And now it's going to create the plugin for us. Now, plugins are very powerful. They are their own web app, and so they can be quite complicated if you want to build something robust, production grade. In this video, I'm not going to spend time on that because that's not the purpose of the article. So I'm going to reuse example files that are created for us. So now that my plugin is created, I'm gonna start the app. And actually, at any time when you create a plugin, you can like browse it by curling it or going in your browser. Here, if you go on, if you browse the Backstage app. And type right here, that should be good, the name of your plugin, you should be able to see it. So here you can see that the example, the plugin that's been generated, it's an example, is working. Okay, so that's how you will create your plugin. Now we need to configure this plugin so that it does what we want, which is to display Stratos in an iframe. So as I said, I'm gonna reuse some of the files that are created for us, and actually I did this previously prior to recording this video. So I'm just gonna show you that what I did so you can redo the same. So we are gonna reuse one of the components that has been created. So you open that example component.tsx, and basically that's this page. So you remove everything and you paste this, which is basically the bare minimum, like what you need to display an iframe. So I'm not gonna go into the detail here, but the important thing here is that we are importing this iframe here. That's my local host, and I'm going to be deploying Stratos using Docker, and it's running on the port 5443. Actually, I think it's running over HTTPS, so we are going to change this here. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Now, if we go on our plugin, this is what you should see. We haven't started Stratos yet. All of the code here, it's available on the New Stack article, and I'm also gonna put this on my GitHub. So if you just want to copy paste, here it is. All right, let's jump to the next part. All right, now we are gonna deploy Stratos. So to deploy Stratos, you have 3 ways to do it. The first one is to use Cloud Foundry. The second one is to use Kubernetes, and the third one is to use Docker. For this video, I'm gonna use Docker. So here's the command. I will paste this. Again, it's gonna be available, in the new stack article and on my GitHub. As you can see, it's running on port 5443. So we are gonna start this. And you can see here, should have started properly. We are just gonna double check that. So it's serving over HTTPS. I'm gonna use -k because the certificate is expired. And yeah, that should work. Oops, forgot to specify HTTPS. Here we go. All right, so you can see that Stratos returned something. I'm gonna show that it's a 200 here. Obviously it's not, it says it needs JavaScript, but yeah, we're gonna do this in the next part. Let's do it. Okay, so now that Stratos is deployed, we should check if we can get it displayed in the Backstage plugin in the iframe. So I'm going back on my plugin page, reloading, and still not working. So let's debug that, go in the developer tool. And the issue, I know the issue because obviously I've done this prior to recording, but the long story short is that Stratos is serving traffic over HTTPS, and the certificate that in the container is invalid. And so the iframe is like, nope, I'm not gonna display this. That's dangerous. And so the way to go, there are 2 ways obviously to solve this. The first one is to put a proper certificate. Here I'm using a Docker container. I just took it from a Docker registry, or obviously you can download the code. It's open source, Stratos, right? And then you could put the right certificate and build your own Docker image. But the issue here is that the Docker file for Stratos is currently not working. And I didn't want to spend too much time on that. So in my case, I thought the easiest solution was to put a proxy between Stratos and Backstage, so that I can serve clean traffic to this iframe. And so I thought it would be nice to do everything with Backstage because it actually provides a proxy, a built-in proxy. But I could not get this to work. And so again, it's because of the way I deploy Stratos through Docker. There might be a way to make it work. And depending on how you deploy it, I think you could make it work either way. In the next section, I show how to use the Backstage proxy. It's not a working solution with the way that I'm deploying Stratos and Backstage, but in case you want to learn about Backstage proxy, or perhaps depending on how you deploy Stratos, you could make it work. But if you want a working solution, jump to the next section of the video where I do this with Nginx, and in that case, it's working. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you how to attempt to use the Backstage built-in proxy to send good traffic to that Backstage plugin iframe. And for that, we need to change our component so that it's not pointing to Stratos anymore, but it's pointing to the Backstage backend. So a few things here. You can see the traffic here. It is HTTP unencrypted. Backstage backend is listening on port 7007, and then this is the route that you need to use, API /proxy/ and then the name of your endpoint that we are gonna define right now. So to define the endpoint, you need to go edit the app-config.yaml file at the root of your Backstage folder and go to the endpoints, and this is where I created my endpoint. And you can see that it is pointing to Stratos on port 5443, which is our Docker container. Okay, so now that this is done, I can show you what's happening on the iframe, and it automatically reloaded actually. But you can see that there is an authentication error, and the issue is that you need to authenticate your request if when you are using the Backstage proxy. And so in that case, what I decided to do to make things simple is to disable that. And so you just need to enable this flag to true, the dangerously disabled default host policy. That's a scary option, and set it to true. And I want to give a shout out to Parsifal-M, Peter McDonald, who helped me to find this flag. It was not obvious in the Backstage documentation. Is a developer building developer portal and tooling with TypeScript, React, Node.js based on Backstage. So thanks to Peter for helping me find this flag. It was not easy, and I got in touch with Peter on the Backstage Discord. So if you have an issue with Discord, you can check it out here. And if you have work, maybe you want to hire Peter. All right, so now that this is done, I just need to restart my backend. And let's see what's happening. So it looks like it started well. I'm gonna reload my plugin, and now I have another issue. Ta-da! Let's see what's happening. So here it's basically like the same issue where we need to allow like basically ignore the SSL issue. So for that there is a flag that we can enable in our endpoint. So secure is by default set to true. So if we set it to false, not sure I need to restart my backend. No need in this case. And you can see here that it's working fine. By fine, I mean we've made progress. It's actually not working fine, and as you know, there is no happy ending to this part. So now I ran into another issue. So as you can see, the dynamic assets is properly served, but the static assets are not properly served. And as you can see, the iframe is querying for static asset on the /runtime / and then here in this example, for instance, the JavaScript runtime file is not being served because the route should be /API /proxy /runtime blah blah blah.js. And so yeah, like at this point, I would need to what I wanted to do is tell Stratos to query to change its route for the static assets, but as I said, the Docker file is not working, and at this point I had spent quite a bit of time to get to this point. and I was like, okay, I don't think it's worth, digging more. So this is as far as I went. As you can see, it's fairly easy to use the proxy. In a production grade environment, I'm not sure what this proxy is worth. Nginx is a solid choice. So I thought, why not do this with Nginx? So yeah, here it is. I'm gonna share the configuration file for the proxy that shows the proxy on my GitHub in case you are interested. But as you see, it's fairly straightforward. So now let's jump to the working solution, which is with Nginx. Okay, so let's make this work with Nginx. I'm going to show you the configuration that I used. And again, I don't know if I said it, but this tutorial is absolutely not like a way to build something robust for production. I'm just putting together a proof of concept to show how you can use Stratos within Backstage, and that's pretty much it. It's not. I'm not showing like a scalable or secure or robust solution. It's really a proof of concept. Sorry for the indentation. My file is quite dirty, but a cleaner looking file is available on the New Stack article and in my on my GitHub account. So let's see what's interesting here to share. Well, the first thing is you can see I'm serving traffic over HTTP, so I don't have any issue with the certificate. I'm pointing to the Stratos backend. One thing that I ran into is that there is some header that you want to remove, which are the same origin header. And so by using this option, you get rid of them. So that's for the dynamic content. And here that's for my static assets. So it's pretty much the same, with removing the unwanted header. So okay, I think Nginx is already running. So now I just need to edit my component. To point to my Nginx. And so I made it run on 8080. Okay. And here you go. It's working. That's it. As you saw, it was fairly easy to integrate Stratos into Backstage once we use Nginx as the proxy. We just use the iframe way. You can always integrate your backend or interface or whatever it is through the Backstage native elements. It takes more work, obviously, but it may be a better route for you depending on what you want to do. So putting Stratos into Backstage is a really good option for companies that are using Cloud Foundry and are also a cloud native organization. It really helps you to have this multi-cloud centralized view that many companies are looking for nowadays, especially in the era of platform engineering. Thank you for watching. See you later.